All right, what's up, y'all? It's Ryan Morimoto here, and this is our show, Living Better. Say goodbye to anxiety, stress, and the pains of life, and welcome to a healthier and happier you. And today we have Kenrese, one of our customers who ended up buying Magu through one of our acupuncture partners. And Kenrese has her own business as a clinical nutritionist and a gym trainer in Georgia. So, hey, Kenrese, can you introduce yourself and give a bit on what you do?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. First of all, thank you for having me. So I'm actually a clinical nutritionist. I actually started out as a health coach many years ago. And my passion grew, as a health coach, you're more of a supportive mentor. And I decided to go back and do graduate studies in research. And I particularly focus on women in their 40s when they get to that space of perimenopause, right? I also deal with gut health. And of course, I have my clientele here in Georgia and of course, all over the US and outside of the US as well.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
excited to talk to you guys today because, you know how I feel about Magoo. So talk
Yeah,
about
yeah. It's awesome that we're both, in the health space. It's always awesome to help people with their, physical health, their nutrition and mental health. And I know you are excited to kind of talk about Magu. I guess as we kind of get there, can you lay out for people what maybe you're struggling with and why you kind of decided to take Magu?
So I'll be honest, it's not that I was struggling with anything.
Okay.
I am a product junkie, meaning I'm always looking for, because of the population that I work with, I have a
Right,
philosophy that if I'm not willing to try what I'm saying, then I don't recommend it to my
right.
clientele. So, I went to my acupuncturist, which is more maintenance for me because I'm also a bodybuilder. So I lift very heavy, right? And it's a lot of maintenance work. I know you can't see it above here, but I'm a bodybuilder in the making, I should say, and I have a show
Strong.
coming. Exactly. I have a show coming up pretty soon in August. So, I'm looking for everything that keeps me balanced. Now, one of the things I didn't mention is that I also have a day job as a senior vice president for a health company,
Wow.
right? So, on top of
Cool.
having my own business, right, I also am a senior executive. So, imagine the level of stress. Do you see the story that I'm building, right?
Yeah.
So, I was just leaving the office and she was like, Kenrese, we value your opinion because I've tested other products for them before. And what drew my attention, I was literally paying the bill and I was like, what's that? And they started telling me about the product. She said she wanted to tell me, but I didn't realize it was the same product. I thought it was something else. Then they started to tell me. So for me to answer your simple question is that I have very hectic, stressful days. And I teach people how to manage stress, right? And there are many things you can do. There's the internal part of it, there's a mind, and then there's a physical. So, of course, if there's anything that I can do from a herbal perspective or a clinical perspective, I am going to try it as long as it's legal and it's not going to cause harm. So I went ahead and I tried Magu, and well, we'll talk about that. I don't want
Yeah.
to go ahead.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing that not only are an executive at a company, you have your own business, you're doing things for your physical health too and competing. So that's awesome to hear. Sounds like you have tried a lot of different supplements before. So can you maybe give people kind of an example of some of the other things that you've tried, or what kind of supplements do you like to take?
Well, I love that question because it's going to stack up to why I'm excited about you guys' product. And by the way, full disclaimer, I'm not paid. I literally met your counterpart, right? So I just want everybody to know that this is a genuine testimonial because when I meet upon products that I can share with my population, I'm going to shout about it, right? So to answer your question, I've tried things like, I'm a herbalist, so I try things like ashwagandha. There's a bunch of nervines that I won't get into now, but most people know about ashwagandha, and there are other herbs that I find like St. John's wort for people who are like depressed, things like that. I've dabbled with. I'd either use a tincture or I make the teas, right? I have a whole apothecary in my house downstairs. So for me, having tried those things, my mindset was okay, are there other things out there, right? No, I'm from Jamaica. I love the smell of herbs, right?
Yeah.
All types of herbs, let me say. So when I saw this product, I was like, okay, what? And I saw the box and I was like, okay, focus, memory, euphoria, mental clarity. And I'm like, I know that because I'm doing 10 different things one time, I wanted to see what differences would I experience with this product versus other maybe nervines, sorry, or nootropics, right? That's more
Right.
focused on the brain. So I said, let me see what this would offer. And I can tell you, I can't tell you all the products I've tried off the top of my head right now. And I wish I had like a list in front of me. But the difference that I can say is that, for example, with ashwagandha, it gives you more of a calm, but I wouldn't say it necessarily causes you to be like laser focused. With St. John's wort, it really just helps you to not feel depressed, right? So if you feel like your mood is dropping and you feel listless and you're like, oh my God, the world is falling apart, you know, that will kind of stabilize you and bring you back to homeostasis. The difference, what I find with MAGU is that, for example, I'll tell you a secret. I was going into a really tough meeting this week, a mediation that I had to do. And I'm like, man, this is going to be, I knew, you know, the behind the scenes. And I'm like, let me just take a scoop and I have it right. And I took a scoop and I had it. And it's funny because some of the people after they're like, man, you really handled that well. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm good at my job, but I had a little help. I didn't know what to say it, you know, but I knew I had the help because it helped me to be like, I don't know how to describe it except that it was like, this is what I'm focused on and I'm going to get through it. And I didn't
Nice.
feel hopping all over the place like I normally do, right? Because as a business owner and somebody that works a 9 to 5 job and you're doing other things and I'm competing and the family, husband and daughter, you know, there's lots of things going on and you really can only do one thing at a time. There's no such thing, by the way, as multitasking. You're really task switching. And some of us are greater at it than others.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's awesome to hear. You know, you're an expert in trying many different things, different supplements, and I'm glad that you crushed that meeting with the help of
I
Magu.
sure
That's
did.
awesome. That is awesome.
Right?
Helping out there. And you know, you gave a brief little sneak peek of like how you kind of use Magu now, but I guess, you know, from the starting point of when you first started to take Magu, can you kind of walk people through your experience and you know what it was like for you to take Magu kind of start to now?
Sure. So I want to say, and I literally followed, you know, what the instruction said. So a lot of times what happens is, Ryan, when people start to take a new product, they want instant results, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of these types of products is a build up in your body. It's like a building, but it's kind of like building muscles. You're not gonna go to the gym today and pump the iron. So this is how I'd best describe my experience. I am very sensitive to things because I don't take pharmaceuticals, so my sensitivity is a little bit greater. So the first day I took it, I could literally tell, like I could feel it in my body. No, not a lot of people have that. I've always been told I have super smell, super whatever. That's just me, right? Day one, when I took it, there's a feeling that I have that I don't have a word for. But then day two, I was like, that feeling kind of feels like what I felt yesterday, and day three and four and so forth. And now I'm way past those days. What I can say is that there's a laser focus. For me, focusing is an issue because there's the mommy, there is the employees, like, I didn't get the right paycheck, or my boss is annoying me, or whatever it is. And then there's a client that's saying, you know, my stomach is not doing great. Can you you know, so I have a
Hmm.
lot of things coming, and focus is something that's important for me. So I would say focus is definitely something that's key. I also, for women, when we hit our 40s, not that I'm telling my age here, but a lot of women, when we hit our 40s, especially when we get to that perimenopause phase, which is where I'm heavily focused with my clientele, your memory gets shot. And the reason why your memory gets shot is because your estrogen, all of your hormones are like, okay, what's going on? And your estrogen levels begins to drop because your body is saying, well, I'm no longer a baby maker, right? So what happens is when your estrogen is important for a whole myriad of functions in the body. So your memory begins to get hit. This for me, since I started taking it, I realized that I'm remembering and I'm recalling things before, you know, more than before, right? I'm not 100% there, but I definitely can tell the difference. And it makes sense, right? Because if your brain is more focused and you're, you know, more than likely you'll be more able to recall because it's bringing you to a level of calmness in the body. No, I don't know all the technical things behind the scenes because I never dug into it, but that's what it's doing for me. The mental calmness and clarity, and of course, creativity. Because a
That's
lot of the things I do, it requires that. You feel a burst. Like when you take it, like, okay, if people don't understand, I want you to try this for anybody that is listening. You take Magu, begin to do your dosage, your microdosing, getting yourself up to a certain level. And I promise you, in 4 weeks, especially if you're a business person who has a lot going on and you need to be creative, you're going to find that as soon as you take it in the morning, all of a sudden you feel euphoric. You're like, oh man, you almost feel like you're Superman or Superwoman. You can fly. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
feeling I get from it.
That's awesome to hear, and I appreciate that story. And many people have different stresses or things in life. So like you said, if you lower your stress or you lower your anxiety, you kind of see different benefits of memory or other things that can come up. And just to touch on it just a little bit, of that science, like you said, you have a great sense of taste because of like how we combine, different hemp ingredients, different strains together. That
Oh,
proprietary blend in our process is how we're able to really get that mental boost, because we have in there like how lavender is known as a calming
mhm.
agent, right? Being able to put the same benefits into something, that's what we were able to accomplish with Magu being able to deliver that to you. And I appreciate your story on this. And so there's a lot of things on the internet. Like you said, there's 1,000 different supplements. There's things left and right, and people can kind of somewhat be overwhelmed. So for someone who may be, on the fence of thinking of trying this or hasn't heard of it, how would you describe it to them to say, like, how do you want to describe it to them so that they can maybe take that extra step, or if they haven't heard it, to clarify for them on how it could potentially help them?
So I want to start something. When I look at that product, it tells me, first of all, let me start with your packaging, because for me, it tells me everything I need to know about the manufacturers. It tells me everything I need to know about the people behind it. When you get a product, right, that is this well laid out, look at the packaging. Like, I honestly, I'm like, how did they afford? I don't know. My businessman is saying, oh, how's the margins on this, right? I mean, just how you guys have gone ahead. And I've been, no, my direct report who I meet with every morning, because my role is fully remote. He's like, have you taken your Magoo today? And I was like, and I keep telling him I'm going to hook him up, right? First of all, the smell is incredible. I actually called your customer, how I actually got in touch with you guys. I don't know if you know this. I called your customer service line, panicking and saying, is there THC in this? Because, of course, I'm a competitor. And I said to the person that answered the phone, I said, oh my God, it smells like home. Now, if anybody's hearing my accent, I'm from Jamaica, right? And I'm like, it smells like home. I leave it at that. But I promise you, what I love about it, and I'll just show you really quickly for anybody watching. So what I love about it is that there's a scoop, you take your scoop. Right now, for me, I just put it on my tongue and I drink some water. Some people now, I see on your box that you could add it to like a smoothie. You could add it to a protein shake, your toast, all of that good stuff. Yogurt. I've not done that. And here's why. I don't want anything. No, again, my clinical brain kicks in. I've had to do a lot of chemistry and all of that and biochemistry. I'm just thinking, hey, every action gives you a reaction. If you mix something with something, it may, in my mind, I'm not saying it's doing that. I'm like, I don't want it even diluted. That's how much, to me, it's so easy to take. You put a scoop on your tongue, have your water ready, swallow, done. And also, too, you guys could have put this in like a capsule form. I'm happy that you didn't. You know why? Because we consume so many microplastics through some of these capsules, right? So getting this in this form is simply incredibly, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's
I
simple
I
to.
appreciate that. I appreciate
You
that.
know,
And
I'm speaking about it, guys, but I promise you, like, again, I'm not paid for this. It's just a genuine passion. Having used the product myself, and I'm like running out, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to stock up, right? Because I haven't been to the acupuncture in a couple of weeks. But here's my thing, like, if I find a product that works for me, especially as you're aging, a lot of us, our memories are short. We are overwhelmed. We're in a society now where you're doing so much. If I can find a product that helps me, I'm going to tell people about it. I'm not going to keep it a secret. And neither should you. That's what I think about it.
that's awesome, and I appreciate that feedback. We went through long time of testing on how to deliver it, and because taste is part of the actual benefit, that's why we did decide to, like you said, just be able to scoop it onto your tongue for a
Oh,
stronger, more instant effect. And
mhm.
we, some people are a little more wanting to blend it into like a protein shake, like you said, just to minimize that taste. But to be honest, I take it dry scoop, chase it with water as well,
Yes,
and that's kind of the strongest effect. It still works the other way, but that
yes.
that taste, it actually kind of brings that lift, right when
That's what
you
I was thinking. So, okay, thank you for clarifying that.
yes, it's amazing what our body can do just through something as simple as taste. And Kenrese, if someone wanted to work with you, maybe for their nutrition or their fitness, where can they find you?
It's actually resecarter.com. That's resecarter.com. And of course, you can find me on Instagram at Coach Reese at COACCH and then RESE. Very easy
Awesome.
to find me. And my
Any
everything is there, easy to find,
that's great. That's awesome. Any last tips for the audience?
Well, I don't know all the people that you're reaching, but I do want to say is take your health seriously, guys. It's your only true wealth at the end of the day. And if you want to amplify it, look for products that are clean, such as this, right? And support small businesses as well, because I'm a big believer in that, right? So I would
Yeah.
say support small businesses. And I would say definitely try MAGU, because if you're there and thinking, oh my God, my memory is shot, you can't remember to do anything, you're stressed out at work. What if you had a product that you were using that product that was going to make you leaps and bounds ahead? One thing I didn't say, Ryan, and I'm glad I remember this to say no, is that
That's the
what it
memory.
that's the memory. I'm telling you, and I should have taken my dose before, because I have a specific time that I take it for me personally
Yeah.
when I know. But here's the thing. When you are at work and you're struggling, right? If you want to have that quantum leap, get in a standardized habit. So for me, my habit is a workout in the mornings, and this is my cheat sheet for focus, because if you're like me, where you're addicted to social media and all this technology, what you're going to find is when you're doing this, you will not want to be on your phone. I don't know what you guys have put in this thing. I feel like it's one of those movies where they took that pill and your brain gets smarter. That's kind of how I feel. I really want more, and I love the smell of it. Like I said, it smells like Jamaica. Okay. You
That's
notice?
awesome. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Carice. This will conclude today's episode of Living Better. Everyone can drop a question in the comments, and we can answer those on future podcasts. Be sure to subscribe for future episodes, and we'll see y'all next time.